Hey everybody, it's your old buddy Steve Simonson, and today we're going to talk about generative AI. Now, everybody started to hear words about chat GPTs and Gen AI and all these different things, and they affect all of us. And this is a transformative time for all sellers, but really all of humans. And so we're going to dive deep into some of the ramifications of how this can impact your business and what I think are some of the incredible upsides of how to leverage this technology. So let's jump in. Hey, I'm an older fellow, and I've been doing this a long time. And so you can count on a couple things. I'm going to make you a promise. One is if you pay close attention, you're going to find new ways of addressing process and bringing new ideas for marketing, for product development, and things like that to your Amazon business. It applies to any business, but especially Amazon FBA businesses. And because I've been around a long time, you'll just have to trust that I've racked up a few points on the old scoreboard. And, it turns out that sometimes I'm pretty good at these things. Although I like to remind people I know nothing about nothing. We're going to dive in and you can be the judge. I want to give you just a little level setting tip, if I may. I want you to think from here forward about AI first in your business process. I want you to think about that job that needs to be done and how does AI make that job easier or more scalable or more predictably high quality. That's an AI first mentality. I want you to think about adopting that straight away. And the second key area is I want you to focus on the jobs that need done. We don't need to talk about whiz bang crazy technologies and have that be the end of the subject. We're going to see some of those today right now. But the whiz bang is not the important part. Focusing on the job that needs done with an AI first mentality will build you towards the right kind of process and outcomes. Now, the final thing is I want you to just stay calm, everybody. You're hearing a lot about AI and everybody's like, if you're not up to speed, if you're not on board, if you're not doing it fast enough, you're falling behind. And I just would tell you, everybody just relax. AI is going to, be implemented in every workflow and every software that you already use. And so, where I might say AI is coming for you, I don't really mean coming for you. It's coming to you, right? And so everybody relax. The safety issues and so forth are just guys trying to get press. And my ultimate goal for you is that you are able to take away process, procedure, and a feeling of, yeah, we can do this. Let's talk about OpenAI real quick. They kind of kicked this Gen AI topic off, and they did it with their first product called ChatGPT. But they have other products like DALL-E and like Whisper and ChatGPT Vision and so many others. And they really deserve a lot of credit for getting the ball rolling on a human-to-human AI implementation. So very interesting, and it's a beautiful thing, frankly. ChatGPT is the leading standard, but when OpenAI released ChatGPT, they had something called DALL-E 2. And I describe DALL-E 2 like this. It's like Midjourney, except it sucks. And now I want to share what they have been up to with DALL-E 3. So we can see very clearly that now with DALL-E 3, it's much more interactive and intuitive, and in fact is integrated with ChatGPT. This is a huge, huge enhancement for the users and the viability of the product. But I want you guys as Amazon sellers to think about brand building. You watched, the user in that video said, hey, my daughter's talking about Larry. Larry's now a character in the stories. Let's write some stories. Okay, cool. Hey, let's make some stickers. Okay, cool. But somebody with a really aggressive brand mentality could have it design sheets and comic books and coloring books and every kind of stuffed animal and product you can imagine. It is an unbelievable thing. And I want you guys to think about brand building and letting your brand extend with the power of AI. Now, we've got to deal with a couple key things. This is fake versus fact, right? A lot of people see the oasis, but it's not really there. It's a mirage. And let's take a look at an example of that. So I asked the ChatGPT 3.5, I said, hey, give me a short bio on Steve Simonson. And it actually puts together quite an impressive little resume, everybody. I want you to know that it is unfortunately quite wrong. There are a series of things here that are not, in fact, correct. I was not born in 1963. I may be old, but not quite that old. Author is arguable. I've written articles and I've written blogs, but not books. And I was never involved with eBags, by the way. Not only does it say I wrote several books, it lists the titles of those books. A, I didn't write them. B, the books don't exist. This is a fact that it is fake, right? So what we have to understand is that the so-called hallucinations, which is the marketing word from the AI guys for being wrong, that is something that is a reality about 25% of the time. Now, as the models improve, I just jumped to GPT-4 and I say, who's Steve Simonson in e-commerce? And it basically comes up with a much less impressive, I have to admit, fellow, but it's also accurate. So bad news for me, I'm far less impressive, but good news for you, it's the truth. So I want you to remember that fake versus fact is quite important. And I won't get into all the funny examples of, how that's come to life, but I want you to know that just because AI writes it doesn't mean it is correct, but it's evolving to a better standard of accuracy. Here is another key thing I want you guys to remember, because as you deal with your teams, they are scared of AI. And so you need to really, help them understand that AI is the intern for them, right? Whether it's you as the person using the AI or one of your VAs or anybody else on your team, AI is just an intern. And it works kind of like a giant auto-suggest, right? If you go to Amazon, you type in iPhone, it starts suggesting all the things you might be looking for your iPhone. And that's kind of what AI is doing on a big scale. Now, it will get better, but the idea that this is intelligent is absolutely wrong. It's just a great large-scale predictor of what it thinks you want to hear or see. Now, AI is going to amplify intelligent minds. This is great news for really talented people because you can really extend the reaches of your brilliant mind, and that works across the organization. So great people, it empowers. The not so great people, it's not ideal. It's not, helpful, but what are you going to do? Get better people. So it can help accelerate the process. And this is really, really important. Acceleration, replication, and refinements are a key part of the creative process. I want you to know AI is helpful. And as I said earlier, there is no immediate danger. Let's everybody just calm down. At the point that StarNet, becomes aware of itself, then we got a problem, but that is not now. And I can say that every business will need to implement AI in various ways. Otherwise, there's a high probability of extinction. Don't go extinct. Figure out how to use AI. Now, I've promised to deliver some of my top 10 shares here. These are not ranked in any particular order, but they're tools that I want to share with you. And I'm going to give you a little bit of insight about each one as we go. Now, I went to durable.com. This is a site you can go to as well. And I said that I was in the pet business, and it starts immediately showing me pictures of pets. And then it says, what's the name of your business? And I take about 20 minutes to figure out a name of a fake business. And once I type that in, it starts generating a website for me. Now, I'm not suggesting that every Amazon seller needs a transactional website. If you already have a Shopify and it works for you, terrific. I want you to focus on Amazon first, to be honest with you. But one of the great things a website can do, besides brand building and besides having a place, to start thinking about alternative sales channels, is it's a great tiebreaker for Amazon. when Amazon finds some content on the site, whether they're AI generated or a competitor inserted it, the tiebreaker is your official brand website. And this literally in 30 seconds gives you the chance to create a site. You can adjust it, you can add items, and so on and so forth. Very powerful type of technology because it's so fast and does a lot of the heavy lifting for you. Another one I want to call your attention to, when you start thinking about designing, you need to have upscaled images. So we all know the images in Amazon are the most important thing. And so when you're designing your main images, sometimes you don't have the highest res things. So Magnific is one great tool, and it's only one. I'm going to show you a bunch of tools. This is just one example where you're uploading an image, and then it will help you upscale that image. Now, there are lots of applications for this in not just lifestyle images, but your main images, and because you want to have the highest resolution possible. There are several tools that do this, but Magnific is a good example of taking a lower resolution and having Gen AI fill in a higher res output. And this is very important. So it doesn't matter if you use Magnific or some other tool, know that upscaling is very, very important because everybody's going to be competing for the best, coolest, most beautiful images for products, lifestyle, etc. Okay, now imagine, if you will, that you're in product design mode and you say to yourself, gosh, I need a new shampoo bottle. The old one we have is boring, so how do I make one? And if you're like me, I'm not an artist, so I can make the blocks on the left and AI can make the blocks on the right. But here's the fun part. It actually will do this for you live. So you can literally drag and drop shapes, sizes, colors, whatever you want, and you give it a text prompt, as you see in the middle of the screen, and it will start to just envision what it thinks you're trying to get at. And this is where that beautiful AI model of trying to predict what you want is really awesome. And so on the left, it's real time. I've sped this up a little bit. And then on the right is the render. And it does this live for you. I just want to be clear. It really does it live. The speeding up is just to get through this workflow. So this is using Krea AI, and you're just making kind of fun little different options with shampoo bottles, right? How fun is shampoo bottles? Now here's an advanced version. We drop that into Discord for a Midjourney upscale. We do a generative infill. I know I've sped this up, but just imagine that you take it over to Discord, which is how you use Midjourney. You do an infill, and then you've got all these gorgeous examples. This is industrial product design brought to the masses, because before I would have to communicate, 10 different ways to the designer. They wouldn't get my vision. And here I can give something to the product and the design people that says, here's what I'm going for. You guys go do the heavy lift on the 3D and stuff, but this is exactly what I want. Very cool. And so I showed you not just Krea there, but the production workflow to get it to Midjourney, did a generative infill, and then had the final outputs all be available, and you select the winner. Okay. Now imagine, if you will, that you've done pretty well, your brand's growing, and you need to have, a website that has a intelligent messenger bot. So in the old days, the messenger bots were dumb. If you didn't predict, the answer, you'd ask people yes, no questions. It was not awesome. Now you can upload all of your internal documentations about products, warranties, service levels, basically anything that you think a customer would need to know. And then you can install this on your website, allowing you to have an intelligent web, essentially messenger bot, but it's not a messenger bot. It's a full bot that can speak any language that the user is using, most any language. We're talking about dozens of different languages. They can ask the question in Spanish and get Spanish answers, even if you only put in the stuff in English. Very, very powerful. And just as a quick side note, one of the largest travel sites recently used this and tested this concept, not this specific product, but their own internal concept of having an intelligent, chat AI bot on their site. They did something like 2.4 million conversations in the month. That was the equivalent of 700 full-time agents. Better still, because they were able to extend their service without hiring a bunch of folks, that result from the AI was 25% more effective than the humans. So the humans that were answering the things, this had 25% less, what would be called, I'm trying to think of the right word, basically 25% less going back and asking for more help. So a one and done kind of resolution, which means that it's high quality as well. So that's very, very interesting. Help Hub is one of those examples. Check it out. Now, everybody knows Photoshop. This is a lower res. That's the only one Photoshop made available. But you literally just take two stock photos, you put it in a text prompt, and you can do a background generative fill. So I showed you the infill inside of an image. Here's the background of a fill. And it took totally unrelated images, and it made them part of the same equation, which is fun, right? It's a beautiful thing. This is available in Canva, Photoshop, many, many places. You'll see generative backgrounds being available. And of course, the most obvious full-time job you should take up is just filling in the backgrounds of memes. That is, of course, a joke, but really, Al Gore created the internet. I don't know who created AI, but this is the full purpose of AI, is meme background fills. Now, here's another one, very important. Let's say you've got a photo, but the subject in your photo is not standing the right way, sitting the right way. Well, you can use Dragon to actually create an entirely different perspective for that subject, right? So you can turn the head, you can change the posture, you can raise or lower, the outfit that the person is wearing, and you can change all kinds of things. This uses a combination of text prompts to say, hey, I want this person to smile a little bit more. Show me some teeth, right? And sure enough, you're going to get the job done. This is going to be extraordinarily powerful, and this will be available in Photoshop and Canva eventually as well. Dragon's just the first company. And by the way, the Dragon's open source, kind of Photoshop knockoff. And so anybody can go use Dragon. But I can imagine this impacting lifestyle photos in a huge way, right? Your opportunity to take lifestyle photos, change the outfit, change the way the posture is, all of those things give you extraordinary capabilities. Very interesting application of AI. Now, I'm going to video.
Did you know that AI voices can whisper? Or do pretty much anything?
Ladies and gentlemen, hold on to your hats because this is one bizarre sight. We have reports of an enormous fluffy pink monster strutting its stuff through downtown.
Fluffy bird in downtown? Weird. Let's switch the setting to something more calming.
Imagine diving into a fast-paced video game. Your heartbeat syncing with the storyline. I gotta go, the aliens are closing in.
That wasn't calming at all.
Explore all those voices yourself on the 11 Labs platform.
All right, so this is really neat. In the old days, we would, call in somebody's 800 number and it's a robot. Hello, please enter 1 for customer service, 2 for finance, whatever the case is. Now voices can sound like anything. They can have intonation and excitement. They can be low and sullen. They can do almost anything. And 11 Labs certainly is the leader in that category. As you start thinking about the creation of content, the creation of product videos, whether it's social content, your actual, marketing deliverables, there are 1,000 ways of using 11 Labs. And they're so good, I would highly recommend checking them out if you're doing anything with video, which every person selling online needs to understand. Video is absolutely the most effective way of building a brand, creating a promise with your customer, and then delivering on what that promise should look like. So you need audio and video in a video, both the video itself as well as the audio. Okay, let's move on. Now, Midjourney, most people have heard of Midjourney. It's producing stunning images. The level of intelligence that it appears to have, in other words, the ability to take a text prompt and then define that into an extraordinarily creative and beautiful image is really unrivaled. I think DALL-E 3 is powerful and it's getting much closer. And I have to say, I like the DALL-E 3 interactions better than the Midjourney Discord. But Midjourney is working on their own kind of chat interface that I expect that will come out soon. Midjourney allows you to use the describe feature, so you can upload a video, or not a video, excuse me, a photograph, and it will give you the describe so that you can actually then take and make a better prompt instead of, some of the basic prompts that you and I might be familiar with. Lots of ways to use Midjourney, highly effective and a beautiful thing. And I shared it earlier as well in a workflow. Now, I want to share with you, if you need to make SOPs, everybody hates making SOPs, a fun one, sopbox.io. And you literally just type in the title of the SOP you're looking for. The AI will go create kind of the description, the background, and kind of the requirements that you need for the SOP. And then it gives you all the step-by-steps of the SOP as well. Now, this is one you got to watch out, fake versus fact, right? Because it's just an AI. But once you check it, if it looks good, you save it and you can make edits as needed. But it sure makes a heck of a lot of faster SOPs. But I do want to make sure that I call this out. Full disclosure, I used to own this company. I sold it last year, but I still love it. And I think the technology is great. And we still use it every single day in our companies right now. So that was the top 10, but I've got a couple quick bonuses for you because I don't want you to go away thinking that, Steve let you down. He only gave you 10 ideas. In the Kevin King tradition, I'm going to give you a few more. So I want to call your attention that when you need to make these videos, we've already talked about voice, but what about the music in the background? Well, sure enough, there's something called SoundDraw.io that allows you to select kind of the vibe you want and then, get a particular style going, get a length, and then, select instruments or other things like tempo. And you can actually create music yourself that will not be copyrighted. It won't have any problems like that. And that is highly, highly effective for adding to videos to have something cool and unique without getting into any copyright trouble. So SoundDraw, very important for you to consider. Here's a fun one.
Recording a podcast is sometimes annoying, especially if you record a podcast next to the highway. But with Clean Voice AI Noise Remover, all that background noise is gone. It can remove coffee shop sounds, traffic sounds, and in general, any background noise you can imagine. Try it now today.
So very interesting. Now, of course, not everybody does podcasts, but anytime you're doing anything with audio, you want to make sure that you don't have noise in the background. So there are many applications for this, from, your own product videos or your, videos you might shoot at a factory, and you're narrating, yourself. Instead of having to do voiceovers, often you can clean that up. This is a very effective thing. And if you do any podcasts for your product or your category, this is extraordinarily effective, especially if you're recording in less than ideal situations. Now, I'm going to share with you Opus Pro. This is a fun one. If you have any long form content already, let's say on the YouTubes, all you have to do is go to YouTube, you put in the URL of the content, and Opus Pro will take that content and chop it up into shorts, right? Whether it's YouTube Shorts or TikTok or Instagram Reels, they all have the same general format, duration, and concept. Not only will it cut it up for you, it will try to define what it thinks is the most capable of being, viral is the wrong word, but I would say most capable of being interesting and getting engagement. It adds the overlays, it adds the music, if there's two people in the video, it stacks them. It does a lot of things that you don't have to think about, which is highly effective if you have long form content. If you don't, it's less effective. But this is a great example of, don't be afraid to produce long form content, because some people like it like that. And then use the short form content on the socials to drive interest into the long form. Very effective. Again, it doesn't matter if it's, product related or category related or, otherwise, it's highly effective. I want you to consider it, please. Now, here's an area that we're all a little lazy about. When we go into Amazon or Google or Facebook, it says, hey, give me a bunch of variations of your ad. And we may make like one or two. Sometimes now the systems themselves, the Googles and the Facebooks, they'll let you upload an example or just a web page even, and it'll make a bunch of these ad creatives. But in this case, AdCreative.ai will make a ton of these for you. It'll give you kind of its best practices on conversion, what it thinks these will look like and perform at. And then you put them into whatever, ad platform you're using and let the consumers of that, ad decide what they like the best. Then you get to see what's most effective. And I want to tell you guys, I've spent, tens of millions of dollars in advertising over the course of time. Often what I think is the coolest and the best is subjective to me, and I'm wrong about what the audience wants. And I'm not afraid to be wrong, by the way. Just audience you pick. With a tool like this, the audience gets lots to pick from, and it takes it out of our own opinions and takes it into data, which is the most powerful way that any of us should make decisions. Data is better than emotion when it comes to business. Don't tell your significant other that. I'm talking about business. All right, let's move on. Here's some fun ones. Take a look at this.
Right, welcome to the definitive iPhone versus Android video. De acuerdo. Bienvenido al video definitivo de iPhone versus Android. D'accord. Bienvenue dans la vidéo finale de l'iPhone versus Android.
This is the exact workflow. Drop the video in, pick your language. Obviously, the origin video, started with the content. But HeyGen will allow you to literally take a video, not just copy your voice, right? Because it's cloning your voice. It will then change the video so it lip syncs. So no more of this, 1970s kung fu movies that the guy moves his lips, for a second and then there's 3 minutes of audio coming out. It's now going to be synced up, and it can do lots of languages. Like anything, it's not perfect yet, but man, oh man, it is so good and getting better day by day. So HeyGen is the way you can do that right now. Now, if you're looking to create social media, here's an idea. Check out InVideo. It makes it super easy. Literally, with one prompt, it will do all of the things that you need to do. So I'm going to show you a full walkthrough here. Just pay close attention. I'll narrate with you. So as you go into the video, all you have to do is tell it what you want. Hey, YouTube Shorts, 5-minute morning habits to change your life. That's essentially the thing. You give it some additional context, and all of these 6 topics are what I recommend you focus on. Where are you going to put it? Topic, duration, etc., as you can see on the screen. And literally
transform your day before it even begins with these 5 life-changing morning habits. First, rise with the sun. Waking up an hour earlier can reduce depression by 23%. Second, move your body. A quick jog or yoga stretch can kickstart your energy. Third, hydrate. A glass of water first thing revs up your metabolism. Fourth, eat the frog by tackling your most challenging task first. It's a surefire way to boost accomplishment. And finally, take a moment for gratitude. Reflecting on the positives sets a tone of optimism for your day. Okay, so
it's very clear. The video without editing, by the way, that's no edits. That's just prompt output. And again, it takes, 1 to 5 minutes to process these things typically. You've got something pretty good there. You didn't have to write the script. You didn't have to make the music. You didn't have to find the videos. This is a very powerful way to really upscale your ability to create social media content. The more you tweak it, the more you're refining it, the better it can get. But man, oh man, it's pretty good right out of the box. All right, let's take a look at this. This is a little inspirational. I want you to think about the future of AI using CGI and how this might be applicable to your videos. Maybe you sell lighting and you want to show how to install the lighting, and you, instead of showing you on the screen, you want to show a robot or a handyman, type of character. If you're selling kids products and you're assembling a bicycle, why not have a clown or something? Maybe clowns are too scary, I don't know. But have some sort of fun character installing or putting together that bicycle. Let's take a look at how that works with AI.
Filmmaking is a medium of creativity and collaboration between artists. There's no AI that can replace that. Wonder Studio was built to empower those artists while still keeping the existing 3D process in mind. Alongside the rendered results, Wonder Studio gives you the ability to export the individual layers you need to deliver your final visual effects shot. Whether it's lighting, camera, or animation, you can maintain full control and make detailed adjustments in 3D space. From the paintbrush, to the typewriter, to the camera, tools have always been an extension of the artist, a means to help our voices be heard. With Wonder Studio, we hope the world hears yours.
Okay, so it's very easy to see that by just literally taking a video with your iPhone and showing either how your product works, you're doing unboxing things, you can pick fun characters, you can add in interesting, voiceover elements with 11 Labs, and you can make extraordinarily powerful content that your audience will want to see. So this is coming to the masses, right? No longer do you have to be some giant Hollywood studio. You can do this yourself. And Wonder Studio, also WonderDynamics.com, is how you could do that right now. Let's take a look at another. Imagine you want to create a video for your company, maybe a little background story, but you don't have the budget to fly around and take a bunch of pictures. Here's what you do instead. You just type in a text prompt. And gosh, anybody can do that. So Runway has done something pretty amazing. This came out maybe a year or so ago, very powerful, and it is so extraordinary that you can just literally type in a text prompt and get a video. And this is, coming to everybody right now, but it's just the beginning, right? Runway.ml is just the beginning. I want to show you what OpenAI has recently announced, their new text-to-video concept, which is heads and tails. You can do longer videos, higher resolution, and the cameras can move around. So just take a look at this real quick. I'll just give you a little sample. Essentially, this is the new OpenAI Sora demo video, and they released this. It's pretty neat. Look at that reflection. There's some uncanny valley problems in this thing. This is just a preview. It will be coming into beta here pretty soon. But drone shots, follow shots, trolley shots, like all kinds of really fun, interesting things. Every part of that didn't exist. Like basically a machine made all those videos. And 11 Labs saw that video and they said, you know what? That's pretty cool. But what if we just added a little something called sound to those videos? And here you can hear it. Right? Of course, audio makes all the difference. So there's nothing that you can't do. Right? You got all these different scenes where you're generating the video, and you're going to be able to do all, sorts of variations of this.
Where the horizon kisses the heavens, one man dares to journey where few have ventured. Armed with nothing but his wit and an
So you get the gist. Let's have some fun with this one. This is some of the deep fakes that we've heard about.
This is how I looked 30 years ago. He can even remove my mustache. The possibilities are endless.
Well, that's fine by me. So wake me up when it's all over. You're watching, sin, que you're watching, sin. Todo este tiempo tratando de encontrarme yo. Está perdido.
Pretty nerdy stuff. Serious nerds. But nice.
So there's Deepfake Tom Cruise. If you've never heard of him, it's a fun way of understanding both the power and a little bit of the scariness of AI, I suppose. In the old days, we used to say, I'll believe it when I see it. And now I don't believe nothing ever, right? It's a different world. And I want you guys to just reflect back on the lessons that we've learned. First of all, any process, it doesn't matter if it's in marketing or sales or product development or finance, think about how AI first can help you with those things. Maybe the answer is not today, but coming in the future, AI should be helpful to those ideas. And then, as always, focus on the job that needs done. Whiz-bang is fun. I can't think of how I will use deep fakes, but I want to know they exist because I want to make sure that I don't get got by them, right? So focus on the job that needs done in your business today while being aware of the advancements in the general ecosystem. And finally, remain calm. It's going to be okay. AI is not coming for you. It's coming to you, right? You have this opportunity to leverage so much. And I've put my contact info there, which is very rare. I've only done it one other time. But I figure this is an important topic. If you have something really important you want to talk about, you can feel free to reach out to me. And I just want to thank everybody for your time and attention. My company, Parsimony, we're, focused on AI for, ERP systems, big enterprise solutions. But really, there are a million ways to slay the dragon. So whatever works for you, I'm a fan. I love entrepreneurs. And I thank you once again for your time and attention. Bye, everybody.